the state management part, and now we started with something called as React routing. So what actually the React routing is? So what actually the React routing is? The concept of loading the component based on the URL change. We call it as routing that we are achieving with the external library, which we call it as React-route. Where is that? Yeah. So React Router DOM is the predefined module using which you could able to implement the routing here. The latest version is the 7th version. And we have seen like there are some predefined components we have: browser router, routes, link, use navigate, use parameters, outlet. So these are some of the predefined methods and the predefined components we'll be using while implementing the routing here. And on the top, we created, this is a simple example where it is demonstrating this like routing here. Whenever we click on this, it automatically loads the details. I mean, it is automatically loading the component based on the URL what we have given. Just give me a second, guys. Okay, sorry. So, yeah, so this is how we could able to load. I mean, what actually we have done is initially while loading the application, when we go into this .js6, where is your main block? So under the main block, like we have defined what all the set of routes we are going to have. So this is how we specified like, okay, these are the set of components. These are the set of what do you say, the routes what we have in this application. Whenever this path is there, by default this is going to come. Whenever this is there, this is how it is going to come. So that's what we have defined. Okay. And yeah, after we configure this routings, what happens is internally React router is going to create a routing table where it is going to make maintain a table for corresponding component, for a corresponding path. What is the corresponding component which is going to get rendered? In the same way, for this path, what is the component which is going to render? It is going to maintain a routing table internally to implement this. Later, I mean, in our application, wherever you want it, just simply say link and specify what is the to variable which is going to take us to the URL change. And we already discussed that whenever the URL is changing, it is not going to reload the page. So this is one of the other advantage in your routing. We are, without interrupting the other components, only that corresponding component will be rendered over here. So for the user, he feels like it is like if you see home is coming, product details is coming, career is coming, contact is coming. For the end user, he feels like okay, multiple pages are getting loaded. But in the background, what we are doing, we are all doing we are doing all these things within your one single application. Okay, so that is what we call it as a SPA, single page web application feature. Okay, so any questions up to this? So we'll see the concept of like how do we do that using even parameters. Like what if like I am doing a routing, but I want to pass the parameters. We'll see that. So maybe after that we'll take the questions. For example, this is the product details what we are getting, right? So when we go with this product details.jx, I would like to say li, and under that I would like to say some button, something called as view details. Okay. So our expectation is I would like to keep one button called as view details. Whenever I click on this view details, it has to take me to a separate page where it is going to show me only one single product data. Okay. For that, what we are going to do is under the components, let us create a separate component here. I say single product details.js6. Okay, under that export function, uh, function, uh, single product details, single product details. This is a simple component what we have. Now my expectation is, let us go into the routing. Where is our routers? Under your main block.jsx. Under this, I have mentioned, I will mention it as route with path slash product details, and I say element. Okay, this is how I just mentioned this. Now let us save this, come back. What happened? What I missed? Single product details is not defined in the main block. I need to import this. Okay, this is how it is coming. Now my expectation is, whenever I click on this view details, I have to redirect to the single product details now. So how you're going to do that? So first of all, what I will say is, where is that? View product details. Okay. Under this guy, I'm going to keep it inside the link tag, predefined link tag. I'll say link to is equal to what is the path we have given? It is product details. Okay, let's compare and reload the page. Now, when I click on this view details, if you see slash product details is coming and single product details is coming over here. But my requirement is, when I'm going to the single product details, we need to know what product has been clicked. Okay, when I go with the product details, I can load all the product details. When I say career, there is nothing to be carried from the previous component. But in this case, what happens is, when I'm clicking on this product, okay, I need to know what product details has been hit. So I need to carry the product ID from that URL, from the URL to this component. So how you're going to do that? So that is where what we can do is, when we are configuring the routing path, this can be done even with parameters. Okay. So now product details is the path initial state. Along with this, I will be putting a parameter which is something called as ID, or else I'll say product ID. So any parameter which is any URL path which is starting with something called as colon, that will automatically treated as a parameter. Okay. Now, when we are saving this, when we are going with the single product data, where is the product details? So here, what is the parameter we are going to pass here? I'll say slash. We already know that details dot product is going to come for us. So in that case, it will be two. Two will be a expression. Under that, we are going to specify this as plus details dot ID. Okay, so we are going to append the details dot ID to this product details. Now let's come back here. When I reload this, when I click on this product details, if I click on this view details, you see I am going to pass the ID of the product along with the URL. When I go with any other product data, if I click on this view details, you see here I am passing the product ID along with the URL here. Are we clear on this? And not just only one single parameter, you can pass any number of parameters. Say, for example, plus what all we are getting from this guy. Let us inspect this network. product details. ID is coming. Any smaller part, we can take it. Rating, or if you want to say rating count, okay, I would like to carry the rating count also here. Now, first thing is under your main block, I'm going to say slash colon rating count. You can say whatever the parameter you want to pass. Now, under this guy, when we are hitting this, we say plus slash plus details dot rating dot count. Now let's reload the page here. I mean, my intention of doing this guy is to show that multiple parameters can be passed within the URL. Okay. So how do we read it and how do we render, that we are going to see. But under this, what we can say is while we are doing this routing, this is the main routing URL. Remaining all are going like parameters. Okay. So this guy is the product ID. This guy is the router count. Now the question is how you're going to read the data. What are we going to do with this data, or how you're going to work with the data under the single product details? I will be going for single product details. So this is where we are going to use the parameter, use the predefined hook, which is called as var params is equal to use params. Okay, now when I say console.log params, so what are the parameters which is going to come for us? Now when I come back here, when I say console, reload, home, when I say product details, this is how it is. When I click on view details, you see, am I receiving the product ID and the rating count value over here? Yes. So any product, whatever you click, if I click on this product data, I'm getting what is the product ID which has been passed and what is the count value what user has passed. If you are interested only with the product ID, I'm not bothering about what all the remaining parameters we got. You simply say where, say something called as pre-ID, or else I say product ID is equal to use this guy. And we can only read this product ID parameter here. Reload it. You see product ID is the one which is being received. Okay. So, excuse me. So the next part is how you're going to read this product data and how you're going to render it. When you go to the fake API store, right? So fake API store slash product slash two. So how you're going to get the fake API store? How you're going to get the single product data? Products slash ID. This products slash 3. You see, it is giving the product ID of this 3 guy. Now I will take this URL. I'm going to hit that guy under your single product data. Okay, so what I'm going to do is use effect. So in general, we are going to put the API calls within the use effect only, right? So I say URLs. I say var data or API URL. API URL is going to be this guy where the product ID will be plus this product ID. So dynamically we are changing the product ID. Now we are going to invoke this use effect every time the API URL changes. Right? Now under this, we are going to do f use effect. Yeah, how you're going to hit this guy? Axios dot get this API URL dot then this is all the common code. You're going to get the response and let us copy the same thing what we have done in your product details. Okay, let us say var or const product data is set product data equal to use params. Use param is an object. Okay, we are going to have only one single product data. Okay.
The use state we need to use now. Use
Sorry.
params you are using.
Use state. Okay, and this use state, whatever the response we are getting, why use state? It is set product data. Set product data, which is the response dot data, response dot data. That's it, right? So once you have this data, this is how the product data is there. Under that, so what we are going to do, we'll say some UL tag. Under that, I'll say an expression object dot keys of this product data dot map. We are going to get the key, let us say li, and I'm going to put the key here. Let us see what are we going to get. Once we reload the page, when I click on product details, when I click on view details, nothing is loading. What happened? Console, only UL is coming. So object dot keys of this product data, it has to come, right? Object dot keys of so and so dot map.
Data we need to pass use effect parameters.
Sorry, I'm not getting a word. Could you repeat again?
Here, I mean, get URL. There no data we need to pass, right, sir? I mean,
Line
in the
number.
parentheses.
Line number, please.
Nine use effect.
No, we don't need to pass, right? Use effect is the hook, right? We don't need to pass any parameter. Okay, so I say
Single object, right? You can use a object directly.
No,
check
I mean-
the console. Check the console once.
no, I'll just keep it over here. We can simply say this guy, right? Object dot keys of product data. We are getting that. You see, we could able to get all the data. Then why this object dot keys dot map of key, and why this key is not coming?
Console is getting any error.
No, if it is error, we can't go see this guy, right?
But single object, right? That's why you're not getting.
Sorry?
Single object, right?
But I already made it as object dot keys, right? It has become an array, right? Array dot map we are doing, right?
Yeah.
So when it is array dot map, why the reason? Oh my God, this has to be this place.
If you look at line number 7.
Okay, this is, yeah. Is this still a question? I mean, I was missing the braces, right? That's it. Okay, so this is how it is, but instead of this guy, we can say ID hyphen product data of key. Objects are not valid in React child. Okay, so what is going to happen is, in case of this counter, we are going to get it as object as keys. So in that case, what we can do is, let's put a condition. I say that product details type of product details key not equal to object. Okay, then you're going to do this. Okay, let's reload this. This is how it is coming. Okay, so let us go with the flow. This is the home page. I go with the product details. Now, if I'm interested with looking into one of the single product, I click on this view details. This is how you're getting the product data. You can work on how do we add this beautification of this. In the same way, put a back button over here. It will be again by going back into the product details. Maybe I can simply say after this UL, I'll say link tag 2 slash p details. Okay, this guy, let's keep it inside it. Okay. Product details, and I click on view details. Things are not working. Why so? Link isn't defined or not? Not defined. Okay, this is, so I click on home, product details, view details. Where is the link?
Back has been.
We have noted here. Okay, so if you click on this, you're going to the product details. Now you select any of the product, you'll come back here, you'll click on back. This is how the product details are coming. Okay, how simple it is. Like if we imagine like when you compare the same guy with your plain JavaScript code or with jQuery, hell lot of coding we need to write. But here, very simple, like things can be done in just minutes of time. Okay, so any questions I see? Swati, so though routing we are able to dynamically navigate, how this is related to SPA? React by itself supporting SPA, right? Again, I said, right? Through routing, we are achieving the concept of SPA feature here. Now, what do you mean by SPA? Without loading the complete page, without creating multiple pages, we could able to load the details within your same page itself. You see, for the end user, think in the perspective of the end user. He will say, when I click on home, this is how it is. When I click on product, luckily you have this menu bar. Okay, what if like this left menu is also not there? You know, you'll always feel like it's a different pages. Product details, when I click on this view details, it is taking here, again going back. So you're navigating between the pages here, multiple pages from the perspective of the user. But in the background, what you're doing, you're just simply hiding and unhiding the components. And that too, based on the URL change. Right? So that is what we are achieving the SPA feature. SPA feature says that in a complete application, SPA pattern going to say that in a complete application, you're going to have only one single page instead of having multiple pages. Okay. Rohit, how we open in a new window, when click on view details. It's simple tag in that case. Instead of link, then you need to go with something called as an anchor tag. The intention of going with the link tag is, but what happens in case of your anchor tag, the complete page will be reloaded. Okay, say for example, where is this guy? Under the product details, instead of this anchor tag, link tag, I say a tag, and this is href. Okay, let's come back and reload the page. Now, when I click on this view details, you see, anchor tag, target equal to underscore blank. Okay, reload the page. When I click on this product details, excuse me. When I click on this product details, if I click on this view details, you see it is taking away a separate page. But in case of this, is it SPA? No. We are actually loading the complete page once again. And when I click on this product details, when I click on this career, this will be working as a separate page now. Okay. Am I clear with your question, Rohit? Pravad, can we pass the request parameter in the URL? Obviously, you can do that, right? If you really want it, you can do that. For example, what you're saying is here rating.count plus you say question mark A is equal to say 720 ampersand B is equal to say something called as 30. In that case, when you're reading the data, it should be something called, or else I'll create a separate params is equal to use params. Okay, let's see what are the params you are using. And again, I'm reverting back this to link tag. Hope it is fine. Okay, we'll say something called as link tag, and this guy will be 2. And target equal to blank doesn't make sense for this. Okay, when I reload this, product details, when I click on view details, you see here, this is how the URL variables are going. At the same time, query parameters are also going. Now you're going to read it. Let's go back to the console. You see, it is the, sorry, this is the object what we read, product ID, and this. So when you say something called as params here, you see we have never specified any of the parameters under this route. You see, under this route, we only ask that boss, you go with the product ID and you go with the product rating, but we have never we never took the remaining data. So that is the reason that is not being cached. That can be read from your URL itself. But that's a question. Can I say question slash, this I never tried, but I can say slash question mark colon A ampersand colon B. I mean, in general, that can be done by location URL, but I'm not sure whether this is going to be taken or not. When I come to this product details, it will be slash so and so. Okay, let us see. Product details, when I click on view details, no routes are being specified. You see that is not being read. So in that case, you can just use this JavaScript in order to read this query parameters. Okay, we already have this location variable, right? Using location variable, you can just simply read the data. Okay, but yes, you can pass the data. Rohit, without anchor tags, sir, with the help of link. Obviously, link itself is not dedicated for taking into a separate page, right? So what the reason why we are going with the link tag, you tell me, Rohit. The intention of going with the link tag is it will be changing the URL, but it will not be reloading the page. That is the magic of your link tag. That is why I was being defined. Now you say that without link tag, how you're going to do? So that cannot be done, right? If you have to open it in a separate page, either you have to go for something called as navigate method, or you have to go with, you have to go with the anchor tag. Okay, I will even show you how do we go with the navigate method. Next, Swati. To go back to the page, we use navigate -1. It will work. Why? You can simply say just a path, right? Slash. Why do you want to navigate? We haven't yet seen that, but yeah, using navigate also we can do. Ajitesh, can we write routes in app.js file or main.js any other instead of? You can keep it anywhere, Ajitesh. What is the use of defining these routes here? The reason of defining these routes here is, if you see under the main block, this is the place where the component is getting rendered, isn't it? This is the place where the component is getting rendered. That is the reason we are saying that. That is the reason we are defining this routes over here. So if you want to define it in a separate place, yes, we can always do that. Not separate page, open in a new window. Okay, open in a new window, window.open, right? Separate page or window, both are the same, right? Instead of tab, you want to open it as a pop-up, right? So Pallavi, we are already getting the product details. Can we use that in the details page? You can use that, Pallavi. That's also a good thing. I mean, what you're saying is instead of the intention of me creating that guy is, where is that? The intention of me hitting that API when I click on view details, why these parameters are not yet loaded? Okay, this route, it should be only rating. Okay. Save this. Reload the page. You see here the reason of going for this product details. If I click on view details, I'm getting this. The only intention of me showing these guys is we can go for the component, you can hit it. But yeah, if you say that, boss, anyway, I have this product data here. But if the question is, if you see, we have the data into the product details and we would like to use it under the single product. Now, question is how you're going to share the data. Now, in order to understand this sharing this data, let us see what is the structure here. So main block is the parent. Under that, child is going to be your single product. Then what I have to do? Take this data. Sorry, product details is going to be the parent. Under that, child is going to be your student details. In fact, student details is single details is not at all as child also, because product details is completely different and the single product details is completely different. Now the question is how you're going to share the data. So in that case, you need to go with the get context or state management, something you do where you can share the data between these two. Okay.
Sir, it is a direct child, right? Can't be passed as a props.
Sorry, ma'am, can you repeat again?
No, sir. Actually, we are doing the API call in the parent component. So can't we pass the data as props
Yeah,
to
that's
the
also a good
child
idea.
component?
Yes, yes. But here,
Unnecessarily hitting
no.
API
Why the
multiple
props will be
times.
coming here? Sorry, my bad. So why the props will be coming? If you see here, we are not passing that component here, right? We are simply saying like URL. Now, how that component is getting loaded based on this route. Now, if you have to pass the props, it has to be passed over here. But how do you get the data over here? Not possible, right? Yes, ma'am. No. Okay, yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, so that means like instead of hitting the API in the a single product also twice. So like you are saying like we need to pass the data from this main product details component to single product details component. So is that fine?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
But for passing the data, how you're going to pass the data? That is where the question comes. So
Okay.
here, the question is single product details is a different component, product details component is a different component. Now how you're going to share the data? That is where the question comes. Okay, you'll go with something called as get context.
Get
But
context.
But for the get context, initial state, whatever you have, that has to be updated. That is where you will be going with the state management. You have to use the combination of get context and the use reducer, or else directly go with the reducer directly go with the redux to access this data between the components.
Sir, in that case, we can do the API call in the main block itself.
We can do the
API call in the main block. The same.
why you want to do the API call in the main block here.
So that I can send the required because like hitting the API multiple times in different components. Like is it a good practice?
Now, if you say that as okay, that is a good practice, leave it out. In the main block, you say use effect. Okay, and you are going to pass this guy. Okay, you are doing the API call. Now, I come back to this. Does the API call happen or not? It happened. Why the reason you are hitting that API call where doesn't even need it? Only I click on product details, that is where you go, right? Why you want to combine the API call? Assume there are multiple API calls in career, contact, home and all. Do we think we have to do all the API calls in this main block? No. What is the use of the components? The components usage is, this is the guy who wanted the API data, do everything under that component. Why we want to get that, merge the data that calls into separate components. And in fact, like that is a good practice. That is why we have that store, right? In fact, that is a very good practice, right practice. If you have to share the data between the components, you go with the states. or else make them as parent and child. Props is not the, because like if you see here, it is not immediate children for me. Okay, the props is not going to be the solution here. And that too, assume like the data is here, assume. Okay, so here we want to send the prop, yeah. But
And in
yeah,
case like all this like product details component, carriage component, in case it depends on the same UI. In that case, we can implement that, keeping
but
the
here that
URL
is not the case
main
happening,
block and
right? No, no, the here that is not the case happening. Here, if you see, when I click on product details, this is it is coming. When I click on view details, do you think that it is under product details it is rendering? No, right? Product details is gone. That component is gone. That has been unmounted. Now the single product data is going to come into the picture. If you see, when I go with this product details, where is the product details? This is the guy. Okay, I'll say something called as return.
no, sir. Actually, my doubt is like, can we do if in case more than 2-3 components depending upon the same URL? In that case, do we need to hit the URL from use effect from the main block itself, or do we need to implement it using like a store and pass it from there to each and every component?
Never go with hitting the things from the main block. Divide the logic. The logic, if you see, when I'm coming to the single product data, you want the data, you have your own data definition. When I go with the product details, you want the product details, you keep the logic inside this. If you say that my data has to be accessible to the single product data, go with the store. Okay, so that is where, I mean, your requirement is to access the data between the components. That is where we have a solution for that, context or Redux state management. Sorry, what was that?
Yeah,
Okay.
so that means we need to use the RDK here, sir, to pass the data within the components from product
You
details
mean
to
to
single product.
say Redux toolkit you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I said, right? I mean, we have already seen multiple ways to share the data, right? We have seen using the context and reducer also or RTK. It's up to we, whatever you want to go for.
Cool. Thank you.
Ajitesh, can we use multiple routes in a project? Yes, we can do that. But recommended, keep all the routes under one single routes. Okay, you can define multiple routes here. Oh, sorry. 1 second. I think, let us say, for example, I'll go with something called as routes. I will take out 2 of these routes and keep it over here. Okay, I'm just defining them into multiple routes here. So if you see home, product details, when I click on view details, this is coming correct like this. So we can define any number of routes in a single page, but it is recommended to go with one single route so that all the routes are being defined into one single page. So user can understand that, okay, these are all the routes of my application. Clear, Ajitesh? Any more questions? And one more simple. Yeah, go ahead.
It's possible, like, just show the home page, sir. Child rows.
Home
UI.
UI, okay.
Yeah, for example, if you go to the contact page, so here in this page again, I need to the one more route. So it's a kind of child routes.
I didn't.
When I no actually when I click the contact page, for example, so yeah, if something is open in the contact page, if I want to do the routing within that component only, child rows kind of thing.
I mean, if I click on contact, under this guy itself, you want to do the routing.
Yes.
Okay, under this guy itself. Okay, so in that case, that is what we call it as subrouting, right? For example, yeah, when we go with, that's a good question. For example, when I go with this contact, let us say div class name tab container. Under that say some div. This is tab 1. Oh, tab 1, tab. Okay, for example, company contact. Main branch contact and employee contact. Assume like these are the tab container. Let us define the CSS for this. Okay, assume like this is the tab container what we have added. Now when I click on company contact, now there should be a separate components. Under this components, let's get a separate folder, sub components. Under that, I say contact 1.jsx. Contact 2.j6, contact 3.j6. Okay, under contact 1.j6, let us say export function.
Sir, use RFC, sir.
What is that? RF?
RAFCE. FE. Export RFs.
What R? What was that?
RAFCE, sir. With export C, without export simply.
So no, I'm trying to understand the full form of that.
React arrow function with
arrow
component
function
export.
with export. Okay.
Component.
Okay, I know that you're interested with arrow functions. Okay. Okay, so this is your contact 1. Go with this contact 2. This contact 3. Just give me a second, guys. Okay, so this is how we created 3 individual components. Now our expectation is, when I go with this contact, the URL got loaded and this is the component which get loaded. Under that, when I click on company contact, now contact 1, contact 2, contact 3 has to come here. Now how you are going to do that? Let us go back to your routings. Where was that? So this is the place where we have defined. So when I'm going with this contact, right? Where is that? So this is the contact. So this is the component. Now, whenever you want to do this child routing here, just simply go with another route under this child. Now I say route path is equal to something called as contact 1, and element is going to be contact 1. Element will be contact 1. Man. Okay, this is contact 2. This is contact 3. I need to import this. Okay, let's save this, come back and reload the page. You see, home is this, product details is this, career is this, contact is this. When I click on company, this is not come. Why so? Link tag we have not specified. Why
So
this
you
is
path also you have not changed to path 2 and path 3 in the down. So in route, yeah.
yeah, this should be contact 2, this should be contact 3. But why this guy is having a problem in your importing contact 1, whereas coming to this is contact C contact. Okay, now let us go into the contact.jsx. So here we are going to specify this guy as a link tag link to something called as contact 1, right? Employee contact. Okay, let us save this, come back and reload the page. Now you see when I click on this, why the employee
Sir,
contact?
they changed the path. Contact 2 and contact 3. Link.
Yes. Okay, now when I click on this company contact, link to this guy. Product details, career, contact. Click on this. You see, this is coming, this is coming, this is not coming. Why so? Okay, URL is changing, but the route is not specifying. Why so? URL is changing. Now the URL is /contact/contact3. But whereas coming to this main JX, we said like /contact path is / right? Okay, reload this. Product details, contact. When I click on main branch contact, this is going to contact 2. Why this contact is not coming? Under route, I think we don't need to specify this, because if I say /, it will change this complete this path. /contact /contact1 should be there. Company main. Route path.
For outlet you need to specify for sub nested
Yes.
routing.
Yes, under this contact tab container, let us say div outlet. Okay, yes, sorry. So this is where we were going to make use of this outlet here. Outlet is a predefined component which is going to be supported from your React router itself, which is going to specify at what location the the content or the component has to get loaded. Okay, because if you see here, earlier what is happening, this route is going to specify this is the place where the path is going to come. But whereas coming to this sub route, now where this contact is it going to replace this complete page here? No. So under the contact itself, we are going to specify the outlet predefined component from your router, sorry, React router DOM, which is going to tell that this is the location where the sub component has to get loaded. Okay, so like this, we can achieve your sub-routing also. Okay, and another one simple one, which is programmatically redirecting to the page, right? Let me even show you that. For example, under your main dot, under your
Sir, if you don't mind, can you please explain what outlet exactly does?
no. For example, if I go for assume like I don't have outlet. Okay, save this guy, reload the page. When I click on this product details, how come the product details is loading over here? Why not at somewhere location? When I click on career, how come this is loading over here itself? Why not at somewhere location? Because when in your main.js6, under this container, this is the place where we have defined the route. So this is the place which will be replaced with so and so component. Are you clear up to there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, when it comes to the contact, okay, this guy got loaded here by replacing this guy. Now, when I'm saying that company contact here, I say that, okay, slash contact, where I need to get loaded? Do I need to replace all this? Because under this guy, you might have multiple blocks. Okay, for example, I'll say this is class name block. Okay. Under your page, you might have multiple blocks. Under your page, under your tab containers, you have multiple blocks here. Now, when I click on company contact, where you want to load these blocks? I mean, where you want to load that content? Now, if I say that guy saying that, boss, make use this as the outlet. So outlet is a predefined tag or predefined component which tells that when this subrouting is going to happen, for them, where is the place the component has to get loaded? I said like third block is the one. Now if you see here, this is how contact one is. Now when I say contact two, contact, I mean this outlet could be anywhere. But under this sub routing page, we are mentioning that at which place the sub routing has to get rendered. Clear, Swati? Any more questions?
Sir, in that case, we can even create some dates and give them some styling and can render in that, right? Why only outlet?
Could you repeat again?
No, sir, actually, if you give some, if you design some grid system or layout, then we can render in that area, right? The grid or anything.
You put it
Why-
wherever you want. Just outlet is the one which is going to specify, right?
If I don't give outlet, it won't understand like where to render
That's it.
and it won't show. Yes,
That's
sir.
it. Assume like, for example, I have a big room. Now I asked you, ma'am, could you please get some books and keep it over here? If it is one single block, assume like if one single hall is there, you'll just keep the block in under the hall itself. Assume like there are 3 more rooms, which are sub rooms under the big hall. Now you need to know that what is the place you need to keep the books. So now outlet is the tag which is going to specify that at what location that books has to be placed or that routing has to be replaced with. Clear?
Yes.
Any
Sir,
more?
yeah,
Go ahead.
sir, I have one. Like in
Go
that
ahead.
case, so are we use the outlet for the current routing also, sir. Can you please show the UIs?
Current router we don't need to specify because it's already we are defining the routes over here. Okay, for example, I take out this guy. This is container
Actually, when
one.
we click on the first link,
This is class name container here. Excuse me. I keep the routes here. Let us come back. Go back to your page. Now once I come back here. Okay. Assume now if you see, let us put this block also here.
Okay.
Reload the page. Now this is under your page. There is one container one here and a container two here. When I click on product details, container two is coming. When I click on contain this guy, container two. When I click on contact, why it is only running in the container two? That is where you have defined all the routes, right? So this is going to be replaced. This is where it is going to put those components. But when I come to the child component, if you have to specify that where it has to get located, it cannot replace the complete page. It cannot say that whatever wherever the routes have been defined, that is where I can render. No, I can't do that. That is the reason we are specifying the outlet only for the subcomponent. Am I clear?
Yeah, but shall we use the outlet for the parent component also? But currently we are using this approach, sir. So this is the only approach we have to do in the
Not
like,
needed for the parent because you know where actually you are rendering.
Yes, yeah.
That's it, right? Yeah. Any more questions?
Okay. So that means simply router outlet is mainly used for the sub routes only.
Sub routes to specify at what location component has to get rendered.
Thank you.
This is clear. And
1 second, guys. Let me get the battery here. This is. Just give me a second. Could you please call the boy once? Okay, I asked the admin. Admin is getting the charger. Yeah, let me know. Is everyone clear?
yeah, this is clear. I have one thing, one application we have, sir.
Uh-huh.
So this is like, so you are getting these all details from the service, right? But let us say not the service. I have the database. Okay, from database you are like. We have like providers, like we have medical field list of providers, right? So
Okay.
based on the department you selected, the providers fields are coming dynamically. So the database will decide in your page what are the fields should be there. Okay, input fields or checkboxes, shadow buttons. So the fields are not fixed. Based on the database fields, will decide. Once we enter, it will go to the whatever is selected dynamically. It will go to the next page, display the preview. When you come back, the data should be populated. Finally, when you submit, it has to call to the service to submit all this data.
Okay.
So the fields are dynamically coming, and in Java generally we create an object of fields and we load, right? How the objects works here?
It is the same, right? For example, go for this contact one. I'll go for this contact one.js6. Okay, I'll go for this contact one. Here, I'm saying some UL. Okay, I'm saying that this is contact one. Under that, say some UL. Under that, li. So I say input type equal to text. Say input type equal to something called as number. I say input type equal to radio. Assume, let us come back here, reload. When I go for this, you see like text box, a number, and the radio button. Okay, at the same time, let us say checkbox. Okay, assume this is how it is. Now, what you are saying is you don't know what type of field you have to enter.
Yeah,
That
based
is
on
all
some
been defined under
departments,
the
drop
that's
down
all
is
been
there.
defined
Based
by
on the
someone. Either it could be device, service, whatever it could be. Your expectation is these things has to get rendered dynamically based on the database decision or the service decision, right?
yeah.
Okay, so in that case, shall I go for something like this? For example, where list of okay, button list, okay, is equal to array. Right now I'm hard coding. Now you get it from database or so and so, whatever it could be. Okay, checkbox. I'll say radio. I'll say number. Okay, assume right now I'm hard coding. I mean, this part you're going to do it, right? Now, based on this button list, how you are going to render this li, right? Now, can I say button list dot map so and so like this? Now I say button map, button list dot map item, or else type. I'll say type here. Now, based on the type, I need to put some switch case, etc. things and all. Instead of that, what I will say is render button type is equal to something called as type. Okay, this is where I'm going to define a separate component here. I say uh, export. Why export? We are going to use the component over here itself. Function so and so. This guy is going to get the type here. Now, what you're going to do is return this guy. Now I'll say something called as type is equal to so and so. Type is equal to something called as number. You will say something called as input type equal to number. Type is equal to something called as type
Sir,
equal to
instead of
number.
doing input type hard coded equals to number, can we pass directly the whatever value we are getting from the
From the flight.
Shall
array?
we pass as dynamics?
Yeah, you can do that. Instead of this guy, you'll say, okay, here it will be so and so. Here you would like to say input type equal to something, the type itself. If that is the case, then you don't need to do anything, right? You say input type is equal to say something called as type, right? Now when I save this, come back, contact one, okay, render button. Why it is not rendering anything? Contact one has to render this render type button. Contact one is coming, but whereas this render input element button list dot map render one. Am I doing on the same code? Yeah. Okay, contact 1 has to be loaded, right? Contact 1 itself is not loading. Okay, I made it as contact 2. This is contact 1. Where is the problem? The brace. NAN. What does that mean?
Okay, number.
Yeah, but input type equal to this guy. Let us console. Why console? I have to say this input itself is not coming. Type button list dot type. But how come these guy is going to get? Oh, okay, this is the value, right? Objects are not valid. Is it is an object? Button list use state. It's a string, right? Button list dot map type is a string. Contact expected token. Type text checkbox radio and number. Okay. Now, instead of this, if I say render button for you, what is the problem? Render button type is equal to type I'm going to specify. That's it. Now you see input element checkbox. Okay, let us remove this. Input element. Now you see dynamically one text box, one checkbox, radio button. This guy has come. Now if you change this guy to only I want a number, or else I want a radio, I want a checkbox. That's it. I don't want anything else. Reload. This is how it is coming. Okay, are you clear?
Yeah, but how we can define is a multidimensional, like two by two array, because this is coming for one department. Like we have many departments based on the drop down selection. All the data are pre-populated, preloaded.
So, I mean, if you could able to give me the structure, either it is 2 by 2 or 2 by 3, whatever the matrix will be, if you give me the structure, then I give the logic.
Yeah, it is a generally we have a drop down where all the departments there based on the department selection, a different set of fields will become.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is, drop down could be anything, but your button list is going to be changed according to your action. Forget about how the action you're doing. My expectation is, what could be the possible dimensions you have? Give me an example. Now, if you see like it is a single dimensional array. Now you say that there is a two-dimensional array for you. Assume like this is array of something called as radio checkbox and something like this. So this is a 2 by 2, right? So I mean, if you give me this guy, it is like just a for loop and you're going to do that. That's it.
Okay. Like all the data will be already loaded. Like let's say 10 records on the table, 10 rows with the 10 fields are there. Each row, some fields are there. Based on the department mapping, it has to do and display.
If I understand it correctly, so you'll be having a page.
Drop down.
Under that, this is the drop down, and this is a selection. Assume I have given something called as HR is the department what I selected. Now under this, now you're going to have multiple rows here,
Yes.
and under this row, now you're going to put some fields.
Yes.
Am I understanding correct?
Yes, correct. If you change to something like employee department,
Yeah,
something,
obviously. I mean,
the
under
fields
this
will
guy.
change. Yeah. But
So,
every time it
okay,
will
you
not
mean to
go to the
say
database.
here
To
it
enter
will be
data.
something called as for address, these are the fields, experience, these are the fields. Like this, you will be having, right?
Yeah. So every time it will not go to the database. All the data will be come and
I mean, forget about the data. The thing with the data is either you hard code it or you get it from the database, whatever it is, that is fine. If you see here, your application is ready. I mean, whatever we have done earlier, the guy is ready for taking care of any type of input you give. I'm going to do that. Only thing is how you're going to give this data for me. That's it. Now, in your case, how you're going to get the data? Where selected department controls is going to be an object. Under that, you are going to have something called as address. For the address, you will be having an object. Okay, under that address, you have something called as key is going to be door number. Okay. Okay, I'll say key is, or else label, I'll say. Label will be door number. Okay, and the type is text area. Okay, and now this guy address will be array of objects. Like this. It will be, say, some street name, pin code, like this. You might be having experience is going to be an array, something like this. Is that is what your expectation is?
Yeah, based on the department selected.
Now, based on the selected department, you're going to get this multiple rows where address is a one row, under that these all fields has to be given, right?
Yeah.
No, it is going to be the same, right? Now, only thing is under this button list map so and so, now the iteration will be on the selected object details. Under that, the keys, under that this guy. I mean, maybe like you can go with this structure. If you can try with this example, if it is still not coming, you let me know, I can help out.
Again, it is go to the preview page and again it has to populate back whatever the user entered there.
Okay, yeah, that's what, right? I mean, just try with this structure. I'm just commenting this and keeping the structure over here itself. You try with this. If it is not coming, let me know, I can help out on this. Fine?
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, another method, just one simple thing we'll finish from this routes, which is, where is that? For example, I'll go with something called as careers. Where is the career? Under the main message block, product details, the product details. Under the main block, we have defined the path. Yeah. Assume like for the careers, I'm not going to make use of this link tag here. Assume like I'm going to give a div. Okay. Now for the div, you see this guy, I mean, this is a custom div what I have created. Now my expectation is even when I click on this div, it has to redirect me to this. Okay, then in that case, what we are going to do, we have to write our manual navigation. I say on click, equal to handle carrier click. And how this is going to happen, let us say some function handle click. Now here, if at all you have to go manually, then you say navigator. You are going to specify, is it is navigate or navigate? Navigator, forgot the component. React router DOM, navigate is the method. Okay, so I simply say navigate to so and so, something called as carriers. That is the path, carriers. Excuse me. And this navigate is also coming from your React router DOM. Come back and reload the page. The requested module does not provide exporter name navigate. Is it so?
Capital, I think.
1 second. Sorry, man. We have to use this hook, right? Use navigate is a predefined hook. And we create a reference of this navigate equal to use navigate. Now you simply use this navigate method. Whenever I'm clicking on this sketch, and this is part of the interview question, might be you might also face this. What do you mean by the React fiber? People will ask. Actually, what happened is in your React until before 16, the React library logic is in a different way. From 16, they have rewritten the complete logic of it. From 16, the internal logic of how the virtual DOM is rendering, how the things are going to happen, they have just modified. From 16, they have introduced React Fiber concept. What is the concept of React Fiber? Let us read it out. It is the reimplementation of React's core reconciliation algorithm. Internal React algorithm has been rewritten there. What is the advantage? It has been introduced from React 16. It is the design to make rendering more smoother, more flexible, more capable of handling complex UI updates. So how they are going to do is, instead of taking every other component, like say for example, under this page, I have 10 components. Instead of updating every other component, what internally React will do is, it will divide the job into piece of chunks. Okay, it will divide the job into piece of chunks. Then individual chunk, it will be updated. And the second time, individual chunk, it will be updated. So instead of, these all things being made just to make your rendering more smoother. And that concept, they are calling it as React Fiber. So you don't need to implement anything. If someone asks you that, what do you mean by React Fiber? So React has reinvented or rewritten their existing algorithm to make the UI more smoother, and instead of updating the complete page, they keep updating the individual components one by one on the page, which has increased this rendering time, smoother rendering, responsiveness. That is what the advantage you have with your React Fibers. Okay, and what do you mean by pure components? Okay, if you see here, just today we have created one of the pure component. Where is this? Oh, where is the contact one? If you see here, this guy is called as a pure component. Render button is a pure component. Why I'm calling it as a pure component? I am rendering something based on the parameter what you pass. If the type is going to be text, are we going to give the one type of look and feel I'm giving? I will say radio. It is going to give one look and feel. Later, I'll say something called as type. Earlier, whatever I have given, I'm going to give the same. So what is a pure component? Every time for the same parameter, whatever you pass to me, I'm going to give the same UI. I'm not going to change the response out of this. The pure functions and impure functions, the same thing gets implemented even for the pure component and impure components. Okay. And the other one, you can see the definition here. And the other one, what was that? Oh, React Fiber. core, okay, this guy, pure component, higher order components, right? Haven't I? Yeah, higher order component. So I think like this guy I will discuss. So what actually the higher order component is, this guy will take component itself as a parameter. Higher order components are the component which takes another component as a parameter and returns the updated component with some wrapped data on it. That we call it as higher order component. I think with an example we'll discuss on this. Okay. Yeah. So let's pause it for today, guys. We'll discuss. I think like Monday, I haven't yet got update anything from the management. I will let you know, guys. Okay. Monday, I will let you know what is going to happen. Okay. But as I said, at least for the offline students, from Tuesday or from Monday itself, if the Monday class is there, still I will take